Niners report some positive injury news on Jimmy Garoppolo and Trent Williams. Both could play this weekend in a must-win game against the Cardinals, according to Kyle Shanahan. Mychal Kendricks is visiting with San Francisco, possibly a signing on the horizon. We'll do some Week 4 overreactions because some crazy people are calling for Kyle Shanahan to get fired. But first, the road to 50,000 subscribers is officially on. We are the largest 49ers news and rumors channel right here on YouTube. We want to continue to grow. So if you want the best 49ers coverage on the entire internet, hit that subscribe button down below. What up, Niner gang? You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Today's show is brought to you and presented by our friends at Magic Spoon. This is the healthiest and tastiest cereal out there, and it's loaded with protein. Per bowl, per serving, under 200 calories, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, only 4 grams of net carbs. And here's the best news of the day. You can get $5 off your purchase by going to magicspoon.com/49ers Report. That link is in the description as well as the comment section of this video. When I was younger, I used to eat those traditional brands of cereal, but I got really fat because of it. I had to eliminate cereal from my diet, but now I'm back eating cereal again, and it's delicious, but I only go with one brand, and that is Magic Spoon. Let's get to some 49ers news items. Some positive injury news on Jimmy Garoppolo, and I honestly didn't see this coming. Of course, Jimmy G, an injury-plagued quarterback, but according to Kyle Shanahan, as he met with the media on Monday, he told everybody, okay, Jimmy Garoppolo suffered a calf bruise, but here was the big surprise. He's not ruling out that Jimmy G could be the starting quarterback for San Francisco on Sunday in a massive game with a bunch of divisional implications against the undefeated and the surprise Arizona Cardinals. Kyle Shanahan saying, I'm not ready to rule Garoppolo out, but if he is not able to start, it will be Trey Lance getting his first career start in the National Football League. That's not the only positive Niners injury news that we're talking about here on Monday in the aftermath of that disastrous game against the Seattle Seahawks. Trent Williams left Sunday's game twice. Once because he was cramping, had to get an IV. He was carted off because of that. And then he suffered an apparent elbow injury that turned into a shoulder injury. He was also carted off the field after he suffered that injury. But Kyle Shanahan, like Jimmy G, not ruling out the fact that Trent Williams, the highest paid tackle in the NFL, could play on Sunday. This is huge news for San Francisco. They need him to play. Now, if they want to rest him, they can with the bye week right around the corner in Week 6. You give him some more time to kind of come back from that injury. But this Arizona Cardinals defensive front has been very, very good this year. Williams is going to be reevaluated on Wednesday. We'll get a better idea as if he can play on Sunday later on in the week. Kyle Shanahan saying this in his media conference. That was probably the best news we got compared to what we were worried about initially. There was some fluid in there, so there are some issues with it, but hopefully he can recover from here before Sunday. So it sounds as though that injury initially was believed to be serious. There is a serious injury with the kicker on this team, Robbie Gould. That's why Mitch Wishnowsky, the NFC Special Teams Player of the Month, had to be the place kicker yesterday. He missed a field goal, missed an extra point. That's 4 points off the board. And anytime you're dealing with injuries at the kicker spot, it's not good because the kickers are people too. It's a crucial position, especially when you're in these closely contested matchups. Something to consider there. The Niners could be bringing in kickers to take Gould's spot if he's unable to go over the next 3 to 5 weeks. Some free agency news to get to. According to Field Yates, Niners bringing in a familiar face, Mychal Kendricks, who was with this team in training camp. He was waived. They came to an injury settlement, but according to Yates of ESPN, the Niners hosted him on a visit. He was released off IR last month after that injury settlement, and the Niners, because of that injury to Dre Greenlaw, they could use some linebacker depth. They've been put in a spot where Marcel Harris, a converted defensive back, has had to play a lot at the linebacker spot. Kendricks, well, he really hasn't played much over the last couple of years. He's been a journeyman in that regard. Earlier on in his career with the Philadelphia Eagles as part of that Super Bowl team, in 2017 was a very good playmaker at the linebacking spot. This could be a depth piece and a guy who has a lot of reps underneath his belt. If you're relieved about all of this 49ers injury news, because we know that injury news has haunted this franchise for several years, this is what I want you to do. You see that thumbs up icon right beneath me? Smash that thumbs up icon, like the video if you're relieved about this 49ers injury news. There hasn't been a lot of positive news with this organization over the last couple of weeks, coming off back-to-back L's, so I would imagine you want to like that video. Shout out to today's sponsor, Magic Spoon, for powering today's show. You can get $5 off the most protein-packed, healthiest, and tastiest cereal out there by going to magicspoon.com/49ers report. Per bowl and per serving, under 200 calories. All of the flavors are guaranteed to rock your taste buds. I personally have peanut butter as the #1 Magic Spoon flavor on my power rankings list. Fruity is right behind it, but here's a little cheat code for you. If you get the cocoa brand, roll it up into some peanut butter balls, throw it in the freezer for 20 minutes. You have that as a late night snack or something that you eat before your workout. It's loaded with protein, and once again, you can get $5 off by going to magicspoon.com/49ers report. Grab a box, grab 4, money back guaranteed. So if you don't even like Magic Spoon, you can send it back and you're guaranteed to get your money back. I'll be sure to put that link in the description as well as the comment section of this video. Magic Spoon, a very big supporter of what we do here on the 49ers Report as we continue to grow on the road to 50,000 subscribers, but also all of the videos and all of the channels that we have here at Chat Sports. Without further ado, Overreaction Monday. I'm excited to get into these overreactions because they are aplenty after the Niners' second consecutive loss. The first overreaction we want to get to: fire Kyle Shanahan. I had people in my DMs. I had people in my mentions. During our postgame show, people were in the comment section saying, it's time for Kyle Shanahan to go. If the 49ers were to fire Kyle Shanahan, I think that would be absolutely insane. People are off their rocker if they want to get rid of Kyle Shanahan. He would have a job as soon as he left the facility in Santa Clara if Jed York were to pull the plug from Kyle Shanahan. He is revered, he is respected across the National Football League as one of the brightest offensive minds that this league has seen over the last several years. Did we just forget how disastrous the Jim Tomsula campaign was, as well as the unmitigated disaster that Chip Kelly was? Jim Tomsula and Chip Kelly lasted with this organization 1 year, and both of those seasons were a disaster. Heck, the last year of Jim Harbaugh was also awful. Now, I understand that Kyle Shanahan has not had the best start to the season, and he hasn't. I think he's been conservative with his game plans. I think his offenses haven't looked necessarily prepared. I don't like the play calls in certain situations, and the 31-37 record that Kyle Shanahan has gotten off to throughout his career with San Francisco simply isn't good enough considering how much he's getting paid and how widely respected he is across the league. But at one point, Kyle Shanahan, before that win against the Eagles, was 30-35 to start his career. You know who also got off to a 30-35 start? Bill Walsh. How did that end up? With several Lombardi trophies and several Super Bowl championships. Kyle Shanahan brought Jimmy Garoppolo to a Super Bowl. They went into the fourth quarter up 21-10. And I know that everybody's in the comment section always bashing Jimmy G for how limited he is. And he's limited. He's an above-average quarterback who, when healthy, is pretty solid. But he's not elite by any means. And outside of Jimmy G, Kyle Shanahan has had to coach because of Jimmy Garoppolo's injuries. C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins was breaking records throughout his first starts over the course of NFL history with Kyle Shanahan as his head coach. That goes to show you the wizardry that Kyle Shanahan has as an offensive play designer and an offensive head coach. He would have a job as soon as he walks out of the facility if Jed York were to fire him. That's how people think of Kyle Shanahan. He is an elite head coach who has gotten off to a bad start this year. And for people who had the outrage, who were slamming Shanahan about going with Mitch Wishnowsky as the place kicker yesterday, who missed a field goal and an extra point, what was Shanahan supposed to do? It's not like Robbie Gould got injured on Saturday and Shanahan knew he wasn't going to be able to go and kick on Sunday. He got injured in pregame warmups, so he had no other choice than to go with his punter. Nick Bosa is an athletic specimen. Did you want him to be the place kicker for the 49ers yesterday? This is fake outrage. This is outrage that has gone to a completely unnecessary level. You forget how awful Jim Tomsula and Chip Kelly were. Be happy, be appreciative that you have a coach who is revered across all league circles. His game plans have to be better. I'd like to see him put Trey Lance in a better position to succeed if he is the starter. I want to see him be more aggressive. He has blown some Super Bowl leads as the head coach of San Francisco and the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. But this guy is a high-end premier coach in the NFL. And if you're calling for him to get fired, that's just straight up ridiculous to me. Do you want the Niners to fire Kyle Shanahan? The comments are going to be a shit show, but I'm all for it because we're all about the audience interaction here at Chat Sports. Type F for fire, type G for good coach. Get those votes in the comment section down below. Another big outrage. Trey Lance is a bust. So we're going to say this after the game plan for Trey Lance wasn't for Trey Lance. It was for Jimmy Garoppolo, and after he played one single half of football. Now, I went back, I watched what Trey Lance did in that game against Seattle, and I put together a scouting report for what I saw and what he can work on. We'll get to that here in just a second. But you take a look at the numbers yesterday. They were really just okay. 9 of 18, 157 yards, 76 of those on that touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel. 2 touchdowns, no picks, and the QBR, it was 39. Not going to lie, that's pretty bad. And when I watched Trey Lance and I rewatched the film, the game was certainly moving fast for him. He was very slow to process. It looked as though he was a rookie quarterback who only had around 300 snaps at North Dakota State, only played one full season of college football at the FCS level. He's not ready to be a long-term starter in the National Football League. His accuracy was iffy. That first pass that he threw to George Kittle, skipped it at his feet. It was bad, but the game plan was not designed for Trey Lance. The athleticism certainly popped off the screen because his escapability, his maneuverability within the pocket, his running ability, and his arm strength are all elite traits. And with more experience, he has all of the physical tools. He has the necessary coaching staff to allow him to be a superstar. You just got to give this guy time, and you got to give Kyle Shanahan time to develop him. Are you concerned about Lance after what you saw in that single half of football? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Once again, get those votes in down below. Another overreaction. Maybe it's not even an overreaction. Deebo Samuel is the best wide receiver in the National Football League. His numbers this year, flat out ridiculous. In fact, he has the most receiving yards of any receiver across the NFL. 28 receptions, 490 yards, average yards per catch of 17.5 to go along with 3 touchdowns, and a couple of them have been big plays. The league leaders in reception yards. It's Deebo Samuel atop the list of elite company, edging Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, as well as Devontae Adams. Deebo Samuel in year 3, he's been balling out. Is he the best wide receiver in the league? This is your opportunity to sound off and let me know. Fill in the blank here. Deebo Samuel is a top blank wide receiver in the NFL. He's certainly playing like a top 10 guy. Maybe he's even top 5. Do you think he's the best? Type top 1. There you go. Last overreaction. 49ers defense is trash. They weren't good against Green Bay. They weren't great in the second half against the Detroit Lions. They were pretty good against the Eagles, only surrendering 11 points. And while they gave up 28 points against the Seahawks yesterday, the numbers show you they were better than what the stat sheet showed and how the scoreboard indicated. They started the game with 5 3-and-outs against a pretty explosive Seattle Seahawks offense led by one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Russell Wilson, with elite wide receivers in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Now, were there holes? For sure. Does DeMeco Ryans have some things that he could work on? Yes. But there are some positives to take away from this game. Dee Ford had a sack. Nick Bosa had a sack. In fact, I think Dee Ford got credited with 2 sacks. The defensive line was getting after it. Emmanuel Mosley played an excellent game. Dre Kirkpatrick in his first game played well too. So you're working with a patchwork secondary. You have some holes at the linebacking spot without Dre Greenlaw. And in the overall grand scheme of things, I thought the Niners defense played pretty well. They were just put in positions where it didn't lend itself to success. Mitch Wishnowsky left 4 points on the board. Trenton Cannon, fumbled that kick return twice. That led to 7 Seattle points. That's 11 points that you leave out there. They lost this game by 7. So don't blame it all on the defense. Before I get out of here, do us a favor. Do me a favor. Subscribe to the 49ers Report. Here's a simple question for you. Do you want the best, most entertaining, most informative 49ers coverage out there on the internet? Nobody's doing what we're doing here at Chat Sports. And if the answer to that question is yes, then subscribe to the channel. The road to 50K subs is on. And as always, we appreciate you watching and making the 49ers Report a part of your day.